curious to see how you guys do this time around. So go for it.
Okay, here we go.
So you have an idea. You have a feeling.
Yep.
No.
I do.
Not quite yet.
Yeah. I think it's from a fairly warm climate, and that's just based on the texture, really. It's sort of soft, very soft. The alcohol's a little bit warm, and the fruit's fairly sort of ripe.
Do you have that same feeling, Jennifer?
Yeah, right off the nose, it's just sort of lovely stewed cherries and raspberries and red currants, and it's like a bowl full of ripe, jammy fruit. And there's a candied note too, almost like a red licorice and a sweetness to this wine.
This is the first note I got. As soon as I put the nose to my glass was something like tea or almost black tea, which I associate with grapes grown in a very hot climate, actually. And it could be Cabernet in that climate or others as well.
I'm leaning towards Napa Valley, the cleanness of the fruit, bright cherry, spicy. I'm not sure, and I'm not ashamed to admit at this point I'm still negotiating with my own self, and
I like negotiating.
I have some ideas, but then all over the place at the moment.
Well, I'll start to narrow a little bit and say it's somewhere in the west coast of North America.
Okay.
So that it could actually be a BC red, could be Washington, it could also be California, not Oregon. I'll leave Oregon out of it. But because of the tannin structure here, and it's soft tannin, but it's fairly pronounced, and then because of that tea herbaceous note, I'm going to go Cabernet family, perhaps Merlot.
Jennifer, why don't you show these guys how it's done?
I'm going to say USA, California, maybe Paso Robles, for example, because of that ripeness and that jamminess of the fruit. And I'm going to say that this is Cabernet Sauvignon dominated, at least. Vintage, I'm going to say, is 2010. Price, $21.95.
Zoltan?
I'm heading down that direction. At least 85% Cabernet Sauvignon here for me. Also California, fairly young. Not 08. 08 was a spectacular vintage, so I'm going to say 09, so a younger 2009 vintage. Tasted wines like this from Sonoma, California, 09 Cabernet Sauvignon driven blend. Price, I'd say still reasonable, $24.95.
Okay.
I think it's California. I also think it's Cabernet Sauvignon. Again, a hotter area, so Central Coast, maybe even Central Valley with a California appellation on it. Price, I think this is about $16.95, and I'd say it's a 2009.
Okay. Okay.
Oh my God.
We've got a Cabernet Sauvignon from Napa Valley. It's a Sterling, 2009, and priced at about $28.
Yeah. A little comment on the price, though. I mean, I was guessing, I think I said $16.95, just based on the quality that I'm perceiving in the glass. And I just think you have to be careful when you're buying a really prominent appellation like that to just not get sucked in by it. There's some great Napa Cabernets. I'm not saying that, it's not a good place to buy wine, but the price becomes more of an issue with Napa.
Definitely, and I think the challenge that we all faced with this cab is that we were all in California, we were all in Cabernet Sauvignon, but that it's produced in a style that is immediately accessible. But the point being is that it makes it harder to define where this wine is from, and to find that something about it that brings it to a specific place.
Yep.
And that's why I think we were all really struggling with, okay, but where in California is this from? But yeah, I think it was fairly successful overall.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Everyone should be very proud of themselves. In terms of score, like I said, we're all really close, but we do have a winner. Jennifer, you came in with 6, very close. David 7, but this is Zoltan's round. 8 points for you.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Almost
That means you gotta
10
be
probably.
really close here.
Yeah, very close.
Yeah.
Getting really close.
Credit to everybody. I mean, discussions were really good. And
Everyone has a cheerleader on the table at Zoltan.
That's so nice.
I know.
This is not rock and roll Zoltan.
Everything's gonna be